Yo, welcome to another episode of the Who Asked Y'all To podcast. We are here for episode 6. Your boys are back in the building, hosted by yours truly, Chris Porter, my good brother MDot, my co-host on the other side there. What's going on, brother? How you feeling today?
Peace and blessings to my guy on the other side. I love this man right here. That's my brother. Happy Veterans Day to all the veterans out there, the ones that serve,
Happy Veterans Day,
and the ones that's currently serving. Thank you for protecting us and our nation. I'm happy, bro. I'm ecstatic. I'm ready to get this podcast going. We got a lot of things we're gonna talk about, but I'll let you finish out the intro, and then we can go from there.
Nah, I mean, listen, I love you too, brother. First and foremost, appreciate you always jumping on so we can get this thing rolling. I'm excited too, man. We've been on a run right now. We've been putting out some real good content, so hopefully everybody is enjoying the content. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe on our YouTube channel. Make sure y'all sharing the content. We really appreciate the support thus far. Make sure y'all follow us on Instagram. You can follow the podcast page, Who Asked Y'all To. You can follow me at Chris Porter. What's your Instagram?
MDot DOT Lem18 _, I believe. Yeah.
Word. So make sure y'all follow us on Instagram. Like I said, we appreciate the support. Obviously, it's been great, but we always trying to strive to grow this thing. So any feedback that y'all have for us, please shoot it our way, because we definitely want to make sure that we building up a core audience of people that rock out with us, man. But enough for the intros, enough for the pleasantries. What we got from today, bro?
All right, cool. So, audience, this is what we got for you guys today, okay? We're going to talk about, Larsa Pippen Marcus Jordan. We're going to talk about their relationship. Because remember, our podcast, culture, sports, politics. Those are the three main categories that we discuss. So, we got to kind of hit them all at once. If we ain't able to, we kind of hit one at a time. But we got to talk about it. So, Larsa Pippen, Marcus Jordan, their entanglement, their togetherness, their relationship. We got to talk about it. We have to cover the presidential GOP debate that just happened this past week. We got to talk about the candidates that's left in the Republican race for the primary, and we got to talk about who came out on top during that debate. And lastly, what we love the most, football. We love it. We need it. We have to talk about this halfway point in the season. We got to talk about who's running up for MVP, Defensive Player of the Year, and who's looking like they're going to take home the Super Bowl championship this year. We have to talk about all these. So let's begin. So first we're going to talk about Larsa Pippen and Marcus Jordan. Just to give a little background story, Larsa Pippen is Scottie Pippen's ex-wife, who they were married for about, I want to say, over 20 years.
They were married for 24 years exactly.
24 years. She was married to him. He was married to her. They have beautiful kids together. They ended up getting divorced a few years back.
2021 is when they finalized their divorce.
2021 they got divorced, and then 2023 comes, and look who comes in and slides right in. Marcus Jordan. If you guys are not familiar who Marcus Jordan is Michael Jordan's son. Okay? So and if you guys don't know the basketball history, Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen were on that Bulls dynasty team in the 1990s, and they won back-to-back championships through the early 90s and then to the mid 90s. So they were
Six championships in total.
6 championships in total. So they were a dynamic duo. But let me pose this question to Chris. Chris,
what's up?
How would you feel if that was your boy you was on the team with for a long period of time, and you got an ex-wife now, and his son is with your ex-wife? How would you feel about that?
Yo, there's so much to this for me anyway.
Yeah.
So like personally, just to answer your question, I would be, it would be a head scratcher. I would be pondering. I would be pondering it a lot. I would probably be more than uncomfortable. I ain't gonna lie to you. Larsa is about to be 50, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Larsa is 49 years old, about to be 50. Marcus is 32. That's damn near 20 years.
20 years senior.
And so it begs the question. I mean, and listen, once you become an adult, the age thing sometimes kind of gets thrown out the window,
right?
Especially if if you're fortunate enough to find somebody who's younger than you that's can match your maturity level, maybe even exceed your maturity level in some instances. But with that being said, it's not just about the age thing, because that's just one part of it. You gotta put that to the side for a second. Then you add on the fact that she's known this dude since he was a child. At that point, it's just like, because vice versa, you already know, vice versa. If it's a man in that position, in that predicament, and he ends up dating somebody who he knew as a child, or ends up pursuing someone that he may have watched grow up from childhood, it will be seen as all types of inappropriate. It would be looked at as grooming. You know what I'm saying? And Larsa has been out here. She's dated around, so it's not like Marcus is the first famous person or the first person with a name who she's dated. But it's like, yo, out of respect for your ex-husband, the person whose name you still walk around bearing, like she's not Larsa, whoever she was before. She's Larsa Pippen. You know what I mean? So with that being said, it's like, out of respect for at least that portion of your life, or out of respect for your kids, out of respect for the family that you still have with Scotty, because regardless of if y'all married, y'all still have a family. It's like, why would you play that close to home? Why would you do that? Why? There's so many other people out here in the world. It's so many people in the world that
7 billion other people in this world, brother.
Bro,
7 billion.
Bro, it's you can't tell me that, at this point in her life, that she couldn't find somebody who is a lot more low key. And I don't want to be the person making choices for people in their dating life or nothing like that. But bro, it's like I said, that is so close to home. That's so personal, and that's so like near and dear that you don't know. I mean, I don't think that Mike and Scotty are like this right now, but even with that being said, it's still just like, why would you possibly jeopardize any type of friction, or possibly bring any sort of friction between him and Scotty, or Mike and Scotty, because of this kind of strange choice that most people aren't really going to back or understand. And so, yeah, I mean, if I was Scotty, I would think it's completely uncalled for. I would think, I mean, I don't know if you can be mad at Marcus, but I mean, as far as Larsa goes, it's like, it just don't make sense, man. Unless you just got that much disdain for Scotty, or you just don't care about him at all, then I mean, I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all.
So, I got a theory. I think, remember when Michael Jordan came out with the Last Chance documentary?
Last Dance.
And he came out with that documentary to kind of remind people why he is the quote unquote GOAT of basketball, right? He really did that because LeBron James just had won a championship, and then everybody was like, oh, he's the GOAT. And then out of nowhere, the Last Dance kind of popped, which is probably one of the greatest basketball documentaries ever created. It's not a trash documentary. It's probably one of the greatest. I really think after that documentary happened, Scottie Pippen went on he was on like different sports shows and different sports radios, and he was saying like LeBron's the GOAT, like Jordan was this, Jordan was that, like speaking negatively. And if you know Jordan, if you hear Jordan, if you watch how other people talk about Jordan, he doesn't like people talking about him in a distasteful way. So I really do think, and this is a conspiracy theory that I have, I really do think that when Scottie Pippen got divorced with his wife, he wasn't supporting Jordan no more. He wasn't like on Team Jordan, this, that, and the third. I think Mike was like, all right, he ain't for me no more. He's not on my team. Cool. Yo, Marcus, he just divorced his wife. Go ahead and slide in there for me. Oh, Pa, I really don't want to do it. She damn near 50. I knew her when I was a young boy. Hey, listen. Who pay the bills around here? You want to be in my trust or not? You want to be in that will, don't you? I'm a billionaire now. Boom. Go ahead and do it. I really believe that, bro. I really believe that because, like you said, you don't want to make choices for people, right? You don't want to know their circumstances. You don't want to understand why they made that choice. But come on, bro. I remember Larsa Pippen on when she used to be on the Kardashian show because they all lived in Calabasas back in the early 2000s, mid 2000s. Bro, she could have had any man she wanted, Los Angeles, wherever she wanted. You're telling me you're gonna go with your husband's former teammate's son, and like you said, that man is 32 years old. She's 50. He's our age. So she knew him back in the 90s, 2000s, watched him grow up and be the man that he is now. You're telling me that's the only man in this world that you want to be with? And even now, there's talks of engagement. Marcus Jordan is saying, I want my father to be my best man. If that is not a ploy, bro, come on, bro. Come on, bro. Like, come on. It's written right there. Like, everybody knows Michael Jordan does not like it when you talk negatively about him, especially when it comes to who's the greatest in basketball. Everybody knows this. Like, everybody knows it. If you talk bad about Michael Jordan, there's something that's going to be said or done by Michael Jordan or by somebody that's associated with him towards you. Scottie Pippen probably underestimated Jordan will stoop this low, but I guarantee you Jordan had a conversation with his son and said, hey, listen, boy, I didn't carry you. You didn't carry my last name. You ain't do nothing in regards of basketball. Really weren't that good. Like, what did you do entrepreneurially? I don't know. I've been carrying you. Now it's time for you to do something for me. Go ahead and slide in there with Larsa. Go ahead and take her on a couple dates, see what happens. I really believe that, bro. That's just me. I really believe that. I believe that. I believe wholeheartedly that's what happened.
I ain't even really too mad at that because in some universe I could definitely see that for sure. But do you think Scottie is tripping? Like, do you think Scottie care? Because they are divorced.
You gotta look at it. You was with that. Well, I don't care what nobody says. There was a thing. Larsa Pippen said they had sex every night, right? They had sex like 4 times a night, right?
Yeah.
Four times a night is a lot. That's not a low number. That's like okay. After the game, boom. A couple hours later, boom. And during the day, boom. Like it's like every few hours you having sex. So if you had sex with that person for a long time, I think you're always going to have a special place for that person in your heart. Even if the marriage went sour, I think there's always going to be some type of love for that person. Real. Now, do I think Scottie is tripping over it? I haven't heard him say anything negative about it. I haven't heard him speak out about it. Maybe he's mad on the low. I can see him being mad, like in the house, being upset. Like, why would she do this? Why would she go after Mike's son? Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, to me, I'd be mad. I would definitely be mad because you could pick any man. Mind you, got to remember, the woman is the one that says yes to these things. The man can't force a woman to do stuff.
For sure.
A woman has to say, yeah, I want to go on a date with you. Yes, I want to kiss you in public. Yes, I want to do this. Yes, I want to do that. Unless we're talking about rape, but great. Unless we're talking about grape. There's no grape being happening here. There's no essay happening here. Okay?
Right.
All it is just courting, and then they develop a relationship. And I think if I was Scottie Pippen, I'd be upset about that. I'd be highly upset.
Hey, listen, you're not wrong, man. If I find out my last partner is doing something right now, I'm gonna flip 2 lids. You feel me? So. Yeah, I can only imagine, and we was, we wasn't together 24 years or married or nothing like that. So, and they only been divorced 2 years. 2 years ain't a long time. Like, no matter how long it may seem, 2 years is not a long time. I'm sure it's still plenty. In comparison
to 24 years being together, bro. Come on now.
No, seriously.
Raising kids together.
Yeah, experiencing life together. They damn near grew up together. You
exactly.
feel me? Like they was married 24 years. She's 49 now. And they only been divorced for 2 years. So she was 47 when they got divorced. They was together for all of her 20s, all of her 30s, all of her 40s. Right. It's like, yeah, man. I definitely don't think Scottie is too pleased, whether or not he say anything publicly or not. I definitely don't think that he's fond of it. But I commend him, truth be told, because the way he's handled a lot of the stuff that Larsa does in the media, you really don't hear too much of his opinion on it. You know what I mean?
Bro, I really believe she's trying to be like a third, like an initiated Kardashian, bro. Because I remember growing up, I used to see her on the Kardashian. All right, I watched a couple Kardashian shows. Audience, leave me alone about it. But I watched a couple. They was bad. It was bad. I ain't gonna lie. The Kardashians was bad back then. But she was on there, and she lived in Calabasas. That's where Scotty and them lived. Her and Kim was like, they're like this. I think they're still like this. So I really do believe that she thinks that, oh, I can just do what Kim did. I can do what the Kardashians do. What do? They're with a man, and well, her situation a little bit different, but they with a man for a little bit of time, then they not with another man. Because remember the rumors about Larsa and Future. Future was hitting that for a little bit of time. That was the rumor, even though nobody said it was true, but that was the rumor, and then Future even did a song about that. He said a rap lyric about it.
She confirmed it too. I think they both confirmed it by now.
So it's kind of like, I think she was living in that life like, okay, well, I've been married for 24 years. Let me go ahead and try to see what I can do out here. What I can try to finagle. What's the next play? Marcus Jordan is your next play? I mean, nobody else in Hollywood, nobody in Calabasas, nobody anywhere else. Just Marcus Jordan is your next play. That's the son of Michael Jordan is your next play. Okay. I mean, if that makes sense to everybody, okay, go with it then. Rock with it.
Yeah, no, she like it. I love it. She's 50, bro. Like, she's 50. I don't think, what I mean? I think Future was just like a cool thing to do, but knew Future wasn't going to take her serious.
No, man.
You know what I mean? So ultimately, I think she still wants to be somebody's wife, regardless of if it's with Scotty or not. So if you could find a dude like Marcus Jordan who who would take the L for the team, like you saying, based on what Pops is telling him to do. And it ain't like he broke, you know what I mean? If his Pops is a billionaire, he got a couple M's. He got some money, so he'll still be able to support the lifestyle that she probably looking for. To your point, in terms of being a Kardashian or having that Kardashian sort of allure to her, so she trying to get in where she fit in. You know what I mean? And like I said, do I approve of it, or am I like comfortable? If I was Scotty, would I be comfortable? Nah, but fortunately for me, I ain't Scotty.
Exactly.
I don't have to live in that world or reconcile with that situation. So, hey man, I don't think they're gonna end up getting married though. Like, I don't, what I'm saying? That Marcus is claiming that he wants his dad to be his best man in their wedding. I don't think they get married. And if they do, it'll be a TV wedding as opposed to, something that's actually law binding or legally binding, I should say. So I don't take it too serious. When you bring up like that Kardashian stuff or that Kardashian factor, that's kind of like a great point, because when I look at them, I don't take much of what they do like as real.
It's not real.
Right, exactly. You know what I mean? So same thing in this situation. I just don't look at it as real. Like, I think it's, for the tabloids or for the headlines, but outside of that, it's not like something that in a couple years we're gonna be reporting that they had kids or something, you know what I mean, or nothing like that. So
yeah, I think like you said, man, Hollywood, like it's for the games, it's for the news, it's for people to get a little bit of entertainment. I really do believe that. Just like Kardashian, everything they do gets kind of highlighted as gold, and it's just like, bro, we listening to people that haven't done anything to contribute to society whatsoever, and we melt into it. We love it, but it's the way it is. All right, so let's take it to another direction, okay? What we love to talk about, okay? Sports, football. Now, this is my guy's CP over there. This is his favorite. I'm gonna let him take the lead on it, and I'm gonna allow him to elaborate more, because he's gonna bring the statistics, he's gonna bring the facts, he's gonna bring the down lows, okay? And then I'll chime in on what I need to do. But go ahead, CP, take it away, brother.
I mean, we are at the midway point of the season. It's been a really exciting season up to this point, man. I've enjoyed the season thus far. It's crazy that the midway point now is like week 9, week 10, where it used to be week 8. Yeah, but like, it's been an exciting year. I think there have been a lot of like unexpected events, or a lot of teams that have surprised people, and I think there have been a lot of teams that have been disappointing. It's weird though, because I took a look at the conferences over the past couple of days to like get a feel for, you know, each team's success and lack thereof. And like when I took a look at both conferences, the NFC for me, when I broke it down, it literally looked exactly the way I expected it to. Like the NFC kind of played out exactly how I expected it to, with the exception of like maybe one or two teams. The Lions, for example, have historically been bad. The Lions are historically.
Did you foresee them having the record that they have?
So that's the thing, right? I don't think I foresaw them being 6-2, but based on the way they ended the season last year, I definitely did think that they were primed for like a better year. I thought they were going to be a playoff team. I didn't think that they would necessarily win or be at top of their division. But when going through the conference and looking at the conference, you start to realize they play in a pretty bad division. Like the division isn't all that good. They got two teams under 500 in that division. At first, it was all three teams besides them under 500 until Minnesota recently just snapped off a couple wins. So the Lions, I thought, had a good chance of doing something this year, or at least making the playoffs, like I said. But 6-2 being number 2 in the conference in the NFC, I did not see that coming. So right. They were definitely a surprise to me this year. But outside of that, for the NFC, man, I mean, most of these teams, I think we could have expected them to at least be in the conversation. You got Eagles, 49ers, Saints, Seahawks, Cowboys, and Vikings, and the Lions as the 7 teams that are currently, if the season were to end today, be in the playoffs. So that's pretty, pretty standard, or that was to be expected. I didn't expect the Giants to be this bad this year, 2-7, but they've also had injuries at the quarterback position. So, but they went to the playoffs last year, So I definitely didn't see that happening this year. With that being said, though, my actual winners and losers for the season came from the AFC. Because some of these teams, based on the circumstances or based on what they're working with, I just didn't personally expect them to have the season that they've been having. So I'm gonna start with the Ravens. Ravens are 7-2 right now, tied for first place in the AFC. They are currently 6th in yards per game and 6th in points per game offensively. They are 1st in points per game and 2nd in yards per game defensively.
What team is this?
The Ravens.
Oh.
Yeah, this is the Ravens. So offensively, defensively, they are cooking. They are on fire right now. And so it's kind of been a little bit surprising, especially when you consider Lamar has been unhealthy for the past couple of years, has missed a lot of time. He also, had his contract dispute going on in the offseason. Took a while for his contract to get done. So it really was, for me anyway, I definitely didn't expect the Ravens to be as hot as they've been. They really could be undefeated right now. Based on the games that they lost, they were in every single game that they've been in this year. So, I think that they have a case for being the best team in the AFC. I think Kansas City hasn't looked like Kansas City just yet. Nope. They're tied with KC for the first in the AFC. But like I said, I don't think that KC has looked like themselves offensively. Defensively, they're great, But until they figure their stuff out offensively, I like the Ravens in the AFC a lot. Like I really do. They're gonna be tough to beat. My second winner for the AFC for the league, believe it or not, is the Steelers. The Steelers are 5-3 right now. If the season were
so the 5, you taking that as a solid 5-3, like they're a solid team at this moment.
That's the thing. So let me I guess give you my logic on it.
Yeah.
I think that their defense is carrying them. And right. I think that they got a potential defensive player of the year candidate on their team in TJ Watt.
Yes.
Who makes a lot of plays for them. like keeps them in ball games. And in 2023, to have a defense be carrying you this much is amazing to me.
Yeah.
Like it's incredible. Offensively, they struggle almost every week. It's not good. But they found a way to be fifth in the conference. And if the Ravens weren't balling like the Ravens are right now, they would easily be winning that division. So for them to be having the season that they're having right now, based on the quarterback that they have, based on the play calling that they've had throughout the year, literally there have been fans chanting at other venues to fire their offensive coordinator. It's been, to me, it's been a masterclass in coaching by Mike Tomlin. I don't think it's any debate in terms of whether or not Mike Tomlin is a top tier or even potential Hall of Fame head coach, man, because he's been doing it for such a long time and he's never had a losing season. He's not about to have a losing season again this year, even with the quarterback play that he's been getting. So I did put the Steelers as one of my winners for the first half of the season, just because I think that they could easily be losing these games, and yet somehow they're finding a way to win them. And it's impressive. My third winner is the Jacksonville Jaguars. 6-2 this year. 6-2 through their first 8 games. Third place in the AFC. They're 10th in points scored this season, and they're 8th in points allowed. So they're top 10 offense, top 10 defense, top 10 in turnovers this season. They literally, the Jaguars have historically been bad. But when you get Trevor Lawrence, when you get Travis Etienne, when you get Trayvon Walker on the defensive side of the ball, they literally had the number 1 pick for so long that they're good now. Like, they're finally good now. They're winning that division. Probably gonna run away with that division if they continue at the pace that they're playing at. So another team that's just been very, very impressive, especially based on their history. They played, I want to say 3 overseas games so far. They played in London 3 games, and they're 2-1 in those games. Yeah. So or they might even be undefeated. Don't quote me on that as far as overseas games. But again, another coaching masterclass, if you ask me. I think Doug Peterson went to the perfect location for him and what he was trying to do. That he might have, gotten a little bit stale with in Philly. Yeah. But he took that same approach to Jacksonville. He's got them playing really well. If they continue, if for whatever reason if for whatever reason Baltimore and KC stumble, which I expect both of them to have a couple stumbles here and there, Jacksonville could easily be the number 1 seed in the AFC and have home field advantage throughout the playoffs.
Big statement.
Yeah. Because I think that their momentum is just going to continue, and they play in a weak division too. So it's not far-fetched for them to be the number 1 seed in that conference. And like I keep saying, based on history, based on who they've been historically, that's incredible to be the number 1 seed. And then you got a generation who's supposed to be a generational talent, I should say, in Trevor Lawrence at quarterback. So you set up for the long haul. You know what I mean? As long as you guys stay healthy, play your cards right, you set up for the long haul to have success down there in Jacksonville. So major kudos to Jacksonville for the turnaround that they made over the past couple years and the success that they've been having this year. I gave an honorable mention for winners, and that was the Houston Texans. CJ Stroud is on fire, bruh. CJ Stroud is on fire. They had the number 2 pick in the draft, and they ended up getting the best player in the draft so far, and CJ Stroud. Running away with Offensive Player of the Year. Not to mention they got Will Anderson on the defensive side of the ball in the top 10 as well. So they came away with 2 cornerstones for their franchise in one draft. They're 500 team right now, 4-4. But at 4-4, the Houston Texans have a chance to make the playoffs in year 1 of their rebuild. So super impressive. They got a first-year head coach in D'Amico Ryans. They got a lot of young pieces that they're playing. They got a couple former Cowboys and Noah Brown and Dalton Schultz who are looking like different players in that system. So it's really, again, I hate to keep using the same word, but it's really impressive to see what Houston has been able to do through these first 8 games of the season for them. I can't wait to see the turnaround. They went from having Deshaun Watson, who was a top 10 quarterback for them, moving off of Deshaun Watson, getting the capital for Deshaun Watson, and turning it all around. If CJ Stroud stays playing the way he's playing right now, then you lost nothing. You may have even actually gained in the decision to move on from Deshaun Watson. And then at that point, you also have a quarterback on a rookie contract. So if you want to put pieces around him to make the money to do it, you have the finances, the resources to do it, to where you can expedite this rebuild to where they could possibly be a contender next year. You know what I mean? So honorable mention is the Houston Texans, because I think that it's flying under the radar right now what they're doing. But give it a couple weeks. If they end up going from 4-4 to 6-4 or 7-4, then they'll be talked about nationally for the job that they've done this year. You know what I mean? Because it's been a great start to their rebuild.
Wow. I ain't really look at Houston like that, but now I am.
Yeah, check them out, man. CJ Stroud threw for 470 yards and 5 touchdowns last week. 470, bro. 470.
Guess who?
Damn. Don't give me the line. Let me tell you right now.
Damn, 470 is a 5 touchdowns. That's no easy.
Bro, against the Buccaneers.
Damn. Wow.
Against Tampa. 470 and 5 touchdowns. Was only sacked 3 times on 42 attempts. 470 yards on 42 attempts.
Wow.
Impressive.
Yeah,
impressive.
Extremely.
You know what I mean? Like I said, they are a 500 team right now, which, listen, based on them having a number 2 pick last year to be 500 right now, who's complaining?
Yeah, no. It usually doesn't turn out that way. So majority of the time, they usually like 1-6, 2-4, 2-5. They usually doesn't turn around because the quarterback has to get adjusted to the system.
Trust me, my honorable mentions for biggest losers, we'll get there. We'll get there. You know what I mean? But any thoughts on the winners? Any other thoughts on the winners?
I definitely love how you put in the Houston Texans. I wasn't expecting you to talk about Pittsburgh in that way. I was actually shocked by that. But then again, JJ Watt,
TJ, you were right,
TJ Watt, he is just phenomenal what he's been doing on the defensive end. Like, he's a force to be reckoned with, and he's going to run away with Defensive Player of the Year. If he's able to go the way he's going with the amount of sacks he's getting per game, the tackles, the stops that he's getting, he's definitely going to run away with Defensive Player easily.
I'll be honest with you. I have a 1 through 3 of who I have for Defensive Player of the Year, and I'll get there. But I don't have him number 1 right now.
Who, TJ Watt?
Yeah, I don't.
Who do you have number 1?
I'll get there.
I'll get there. I'll let you continue.
Let me go ahead to the biggest losers through the midway point. So I'm gonna try and make this a little bit quicker on the losers because I didn't feel like pulling their stats, man. They're losers.
They're losers.
They're losers. But my first loser, and I didn't really anticipate having to do this, but it is what it is. My number 1 loser for the season thus far is the Las Vegas Raiders. Las Vegas is the only team up until this point to fire their head coach, so you automatically got to be the number 1 loser of the season.
Yeah, because they have Antonio Pierce as the interim now.
Antonio Pierce is the interim head coach right now, and that's not to say that because they're the biggest loser of the first half means that they can't turn it around for the second half. I just think that based on the circumstances, this is 2 years in a row now. Well, I guess only a year and a half because they fired him before he got through the entire season, but a year and a half of Josh McDaniels, and we saw Josh McDaniels as a head coach before. I don't know why this surprised anybody that his locker room was over him and all of his nonsense. Yet and still, Vegas hired him. They gave him a long contract, and I don't know if you know, but they fired John Gruden before they hired Josh McDaniels. John Gruden was on like a 10-year contract, and he got fired after 3
like
seasons.
$100 million or something like that. It was crazy.
So they're still paying John Gruden right now. They still have to pay him
because they fired him because of some offensive text messages or something like that. Some type of racist thing or something like that. They had to fire him. That eats up your cap because you're wasting money paying a coach that is no longer employed by you. Which is John Gruden probably sent that home fine because he's collecting money even though he don't got to work, but he's still collecting money from them.
Literally doesn't have to worry about getting a job ever again. At least for the next 5 years.
Yeah, he
doesn't even have to worry about getting a job. So John Gruden is kicked up with his feet up like my feet are kicked up right now. But he's just sitting on a bunch of M's as opposed to me who's not. You know what I mean? And then you repeat the exact same cycle with Josh McDaniels now. That's another coach who's just going to be sitting at home getting paid by you. You're paying 2 coaches not to coach. When they fire John Gruden, they hire interim head, or they appointed Rich Bisaccia as their interim head coach. The players wanted him to be the head coach. They wanted him to get hired for the job. They had a successful run with Rich Bisaccia as their head coach, and they still chose to go outside of the organization to hire Josh McDaniels. Now they're in this position right now. They went and they elevated Antonio Pierce as the interim head coach. Are they going to use revisionist history? Are they going to rely on revisionist history to say, let me not repeat this same mistake again. Let me hire Antonio because the players like playing for Antonio. The players believe in Antonio. So he should, if he can thrive in this role, and if he can thrive in this position, there's no reason why he shouldn't be able to get the job long term as the head coach. But it remains to be seen whether or not Oakland is going to Las Vegas is ultimately going to decide to do that. I think based on the decisions that they've made up to this point, it's no telling how they're going to go. But just based on that alone, having had to fire their head coach halfway through the season, I had to put them as the biggest loser for the season just because no other team is at that point just yet. My second biggest loser is going to be, and we've talked about them on the show before, the Denver Broncos. The Denver Broncos fired Nathaniel Hackett last year and hired Sean Payton. Sean Payton said that the job that Nat Hackett did was the worst coaching job in NFL history. And to this point, they are worse than they were the year before. The Broncos have 3 wins, but they have 5 losses. They are literally second to last in the conference, and they're stuck with Russell Wilson as their quarterback. There's nothing they can do to get off of Russell Wilson. They can't get out of that contract. He's going to be their quarterback for at least the next year. So they have to find a way to somehow win with an aging quarterback who is a shell of himself.
I don't understand. Like, I don't understand what went through when they got the contract for him, what the scouting was, what did they think, like, what he was going to do, what was the projections on him, what was he doing in practice, because the way he's playing now is just pitiful. Like, I don't understand it. I don't get it. I don't like it. And Denver kind of put themselves in a tough spot. It wasn't, if we look at Denver's history, it was less than 10 years ago when he was in the Super Bowl with Peyton Manning. So, from being a former championship caliber team to what you are now, what a quarterback that's been to multiple Super Bowls is crazy. You think, I think the Denver really thought, okay, Russell can do this. He's younger. Tom Brady done it. Russell can do it. Let's bring him. Let's see what he can do. I think that was in their minds. Let's bring a veteran quarterback in that's been to the Super Bowl one time, that's won championships. Let's bring him. Let's see what he can do. He has just been atrocious. I don't even know what words you could put on it. I don't even know what Denver could do to, like you said, to create a better situation for Russ in this situation, because he's just not playing good. He's not looking at his reads, not looking at his checkdowns. He's not being someone who you can rely on in these critical positions, especially with some of the games that they've lost where it's bro, you can't score a touchdown? You can't score the touchdown first to win the game? Like, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's been bad, and I think even the more so Russell has been disappointing because nobody thought that Russell was washed.
No.
The big thing in Seattle was let Russ cook. And a lot of us were thinking that he was going to get the chance to cook in Denver, and he had receivers over there that were better than what he had in Seattle, and so he was going to be putting up better numbers, and he was going to be able to compete with Kansas City for that division, and they was going to be a playoff team. The biggest, and it might not be the biggest thing, let me change that, but one of the most significant things from last year to this year is, in spite of how bad Russell played last year, Denver had a very good defense.
Right.
Denver's defense was very good last year. Statistically, up to this point, they have the worst defense in the NFL. Granted, they did have a game they gave up 70 points.
That's crazy.
But that says it right there.
Yeah.
You gave up 70 points. That hasn't been done in 60 years. So listen, Denver is, to me, a hot mess. Because they're stuck in these situations. It's not like it's changing anytime soon. Like I said, Russell's going to be their quarterback. Unless you can find a team to take that contract, which I don't think that they will, based on the way he's played and based on his age, you're stuck with him, and you're not getting anything out of him, but you're also not getting anything out of your defense. Right. So even if Russ did possibly, play a good game here and there, or maybe he doesn't look as bad as he looked last year, your defense is losing you games in situations where they at least kept you in games previously.
Yeah.
So the Broncos, I don't know where they go from here. Like I said, they're 3-5, so it's not like their record is terrible, but based on the standings, they're second to last in the AFC. Probably not making the playoffs again. Sean Payton said that if they didn't make the playoffs this year, this was going to be a disappointing season. Damn near guaranteed the playoffs. So, definitely disappointing. Last place in terms of, or my third team, I should say, for biggest losers is the New England Patriots.
Yeah. Wow.
Had to go there, had to bring the Patriots into this. This is the worst record that they've had in the Bill Belichick era through 9 weeks in his tenure as coach of the Patriots. They are currently 2-7, and there has been speculation throughout the past couple weeks that should they go 2-8 or beyond, should they lose their next game, which I believe is overseas in Germany, I believe, that during their bye week there may be a change at coach. Who would have ever thought that?
Because I don't think that's fair, man. I think if Robert Kraft's going to do it, you're not. So you might as well just throw away playoff hopes because you're not going to be able to.
They're 2-7.
Yeah, there's no way.
2-7. It's done.
There's no way. So I think you should allow Bill Belichick to at least finish out the season, give him his parting package. Give him whatever you need at the end of the season, and then be done. Don't make because it wouldn't be. That would be pointless. Why would you? Even if the coach does super well, you're not getting the playoffs. There's no way. Your division is too good. Your division is too good. Miami's at the head of the division right now. You're not even going to make it. The division is too strong.
Yeah,
you're not going to make it. So I think the right thing to do is just allow Bill to finish out the season. If you're going to make a change in coach, make it during the off season. Let him go peacefully. Let him do his thing, and then that's it. I can see Bill being a great. Golly, I wouldn't even say sportscaster because he don't like talking. So
if he's not coaching, he's not participating in none of this stuff. But I have heard. So Bill is trying to become the winningest head coach in history. I think he's maybe 16 games away. Again, don't quote me on that because I'm probably wrong. But with that being said, Bill still wants to coach. He still wants to continue.
So who will be dumb enough? And I don't even think dumb, but what team would want to pick him up after this season? Well, if you're a team, who would pick up Bill Belichick?
Let me name a team. If you was the Commanders, you wouldn't take Bill Belichick
over Ron Rivera.
Over Ron Rivera. It's Bill Belichick.
Who's the quarterback for the Washington right now?
Sam Howell.
See, it's somebody that's not even that great. So I'd be in the same predicament that they did with Mac Jones. Same. It's not better for me. It's the same.
All right, one more. And I think this is a real possibility. If you're the Chargers, you don't want Bill Belichick. Justin Herbert as your quarterback.
Who's the coach?
Brandon Staley.
I mean, but they're doing good though. They're doing good. Why would?
Nah. They out the playoffs right now. If the season were to end today, the Chargers are 4-4. They would be.
Oh, so they pop on it. Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah. I would. Yeah, definitely. With a quarterback like that, absolutely. I would let Bill add his touch to it, and then
they got good weapons. They're supposed to have a good defense.
Yeah,
they spent a lot of money on defensive players. They got Khalil Mack. Yeah. They got Joey Bosa.
100%.
Yes, you know what I mean. So,
that wouldn't even be a thought. Like I would just automatic because Bill thrives with a team that is defensive minded, but also has a quarterback that can take them to that level.
Yeah. So,
Justin Herbert already has all the great attributes. You see what he can do. He can throw 3,000-4,000 yards a season. Allow him to cook with a defense that's able to make stops.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. If they do that, that would actually make a lot of sense.
I like that. And I
think
would
make a lot of sense.
Based on Brandon Staley's current status as the coach, I think that if their season stays the way it is, he's going to be out of there. And I think Bill should try and jump ship as soon as possible, man. Cause
that actually makes sense. I would actually like that move for him because, if they send him off properly and he's able to finagle something and get into with Los Angeles Chargers, that would make a lot of sense. That would actually be a smart move on his one. And then if I was him, I'll do a season and a half, 2 seasons, and then just be done. Just retire, be done. What do you need to prove? What do you need to prove?
Maybe you can get another ring in that time period if Justin Herbert goes crazy.
And then you can dispel the rumors that you can't win without Brady. That
literally
makes sense to me.
Yeah. So that was the one place that I thought about or that I've seen stuff about with Belichick, with Coach Belichick, where I thought that it would be a possibility. Last one, my honorable mention for losers, and then we're going to get on to MVPs and all of that, is honorable mention is just the Chicago Bears. Like I said, we've discussed them on here before. What's up?
I was going to say, like, what's going on with them? Do they not want Justin Fields as their quarterback? I don't understand.
It's crazy because I called them a loser, right, because of the way their season is going. They're 2-7. But listen, the way they have it projected right now, the real biggest loser in the NFL is the Carolina Panthers, because the Carolina Panthers traded their first round pick in the upcoming draft to Chicago to draft Bryce Young, who hasn't looked good this year, and now that pick is projected to be the number 1 overall pick again. So Chicago is about to have the number 1 overall pick 2 years in a row.
Wow.
So they might not want Justin Fields as their quarterback.
Yeah, they might just pick someone else.
You know what I mean? They might try and go after Caleb Williams because they're going to have the number 1 pick at this point. They're also going to have the number 2 or 3 pick based on how many games they lose. So they about to be set. So, I mean, it's no telling what they doing right now, but they ain't winning. They went out and traded for DJ Moore in the offseason, and they still don't look good. They got a defensive head coach in Matt Eberflus, and their defense is trash.
Yeah, when a name like Eberflus, I didn't foresee that being positive defense.
Nah, seriously, you know what I mean? So, they just traded for my guy from Washington. I'm blanking on his name right now. I think it might be Montez Sweat, but I could be off. But they just traded a 2nd round pick for a player who literally isn't going to help them win this year. They're still going to be a terrible team. So, no clue what the Chicago Bears are doing. But like I said, they about to have 2 top 5 picks in the upcoming draft. So hopefully they turn it around like the Texans do. But yeah, that's the losers for this year. For the midway point of the season. Like I said, it's not too late for any of these teams to turn it around, but it's no telling. Real quick, I'm gonna just get to my MVP candidates.
Right.
Number 1, I have Lamar Jackson. Number 2, I have Jalen Hurts, and number 3, I got Pat Mahomes.
So you have all quarterbacks.
Yeah.
So Tyreek Hill gonna eclipse over 2,000 yards receiving. That doesn't.
Well, he's got to do it first. He's got to do it. And my thing is, I don't disagree with Tyreek because I think that he's a beast. I would give him Offensive Player of the Year for sure. I would definitely give him Offensive Player of the Year, but I wouldn't give him MVP because it's still a dependent position. So if I'm going to give somebody MVP from that team, I'm going to give it to Tua or somebody like that. But I can't give Tua MVP because I think that Tyreek makes Tua and not the other way around.
Well, there you go. I mean, I agree with you. I think if Tyreek wasn't on that team, Tua wouldn't be throwing 300-400 yards a game.
I agree. It's just hard to give a receiver MVP. Like I said, I got no problem with giving Tyreek. If I listed 4 or 5 players instead of 3, I would probably have Tyreek 4th and like maybe AJ Brown 5th or something like that. Because both of them dudes,
I was just gonna say AJ Brown. I was like, I would definitely put him in the category as well.
Yeah, from the receiver spot.
It's just the receptions and his receiving yards that he's been getting. It's been crazy.
Both of them over 1,000 yards already.
Averaging over 10 balls, over 100 yards a game. Like, it's crazy.
It's crazy. And it's not even as if they don't have other good receivers on both of these teams. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, Miami has Jalen Waddle. Philly's got Devontae Smith.
Yep.
And Dallas Goedert. You know what I mean? But, yeah, and still, A.J. Brown has been...
catching everything. He's catching everything. His hands is, like, doing everything, bro.
It's kind of scary.
And it's not even like... It's balls. It's sometimes it's balls that look uncatchable, and you're like, bro, how you?
He's not open. He don't be open.
Bro, you got 2 people on you. What's happening?
But you know what? That definitely shows the relationship between receiver and quarterback. Because most of them throws the quarterback shouldn't be throwing. Like, he's not open on those throws, but you just have that relationship with your receiver to where you can make that throw and not be bothered or not be worried or trust that he's going to come down with the ball. So, like I said, Offensive Player of the Year, I definitely would have Tyreek number 1, AJ Brown number 2, and then Christian McCaffrey is my 3rd as far as Offensive Player of the Year. He scored in every single game this year. So yeah, I think the way Christian McCaffrey has played is the only reason why Brock Purdy has looked as good as he was looking.
Because now he's looking like he's just an average quarterback.
Exactly, and McCaffrey has been a little bit banged up in that course of time, and they've also lost some other weapons as well too. So I definitely had McCaffrey as my 3rd for Offensive Player of the Year. Defensive Player of the Year, back to what we were discussing earlier.
Yeah.
Number 1, I have Myles Garrett.
Okay.
Number 2, good pick, right?
Yeah.
Number 2, I got T.J. Watt. Number 3, I got your boy, Micah Parsons.
Okay.
Can't be biased on that one, man. He's a beast. I mean,
Aaron Donald?
Not this year, man. Not this year. The Rams just, I mean, I think that he's the only thing that they have, if I'm being honest. Like, I think it's Aaron Donald or nothing for that defense. But I don't think they've showed up the way you would necessarily expect the Rams defense with Aaron Donald to show up. So couldn't put him on there this year. And then I went to Coach of the Year. Coach of the Year, I had Doug Peterson number 1 for Jacksonville Jaguars. I got Dan Campbell number 2 from the Lions. And then DeMeco Ryans from the Houston Texans number 3.
It's crazy you don't have Nick Sirianni on there.
Nah. I mean, I like Nick. I love Nick.
What? Why? That doesn't even make sense.
Because his team is stacked. Like,
so that means he didn't do anything to cultivate it.
I mean, I think that he does a great job of managing all those personalities and making sure that, you know, like, you don't have players throwing fits on the sideline if they're not getting balls or anything like that. But I think that the Eagles have a lot of talent, and so it's not you just asking Nick to kind of be a manager of egos or manager of big time players, as opposed to actually asking him to like come up with like an amazing game plan, for example. Or put his players. I mean, I don't want to say not put his players in the best position to win, because I think he's putting his players in great positions to win. I just think that when you've got an elite quarterback, when you got you got 2 elite wide receivers, you got an elite offensive line, you got an elite defensive line, you got an elite cornerback. You just traded for an all-pro safety. It's kind of like, yo, you got an embarrassment of riches. And so, yeah, he's doing a great job, phenomenal job. But I think there are other coaches who are doing more with less. That's anything.
That makes sense. I thought you were just being biased against your own your own coach.
Nah, I mean, listen, we got the best team in the conference, but we had the best team in the conference last year. He didn't get coach of the year last year. You know what I mean? So I do think that he should get recognized, though, because I think that, you know, he's keeping his players motivated. They went to the Super Bowl last year, and you usually don't see teams bounce back and get to 8-1 after they just lost the Super Bowl. It's usually like that Super Bowl hangover thing. So I think he does deserve his props for sure. It's just like I said, there are other coaches who are a little bit more surprising or are working with less and still are finding ways to get their teams to succeed. So shouts to Nick, but shouts out to the other coaches that I listed too.
Right. No, great list, bro. Great breakdown of everything. You put me on the game with a lot of things. I didn't even know Doug Peterson was doing this thing like that with me. So with Jacksonville. But wow, bro, like, Jesus Christ, you over here got me hooked to the game. Golly, man.
That's what I'm here for, man. For you, for the people, in case y'all wasn't tuned in or up to the know and everything happening this season. It's a lot of great football being played, man. It's a lot of teams that are doing their thing. And like I said at the top, man, a lot of surprises, man. A lot of teams that have historically not been so great that have turned it around this year. So it's been a dope season to see. But that was a great topic on the sports. Why don't we go ahead and transition one more time? Let's get over to this GOP debate, man.
Okay, cool. All right. So the GOP debate, we had Vivek Ramaswamy, Doug Christie, Nikki Haley, Tim Scott, and
Doug Christie is a basketball player.
Yeah, and Ron DeSantis. I believe Ron DeSantis was there. Yeah, Ron DeSantis. So I don't think Mike Pence dropped out. I don't think he's in there anymore. He already dropped out. If people don't know, Mike Pence was in there. He was in the last GOP debate. I think he's dropped out because of the lack of support and the lack of winning that he'll be able to foresee within trying to get that presidential nominee, that Republican nominee. Now, the people that stood out to me now, who stood out to me the most? And I have done my research on it. I've listened to the debate. I've watched other podcasts speak about it, and it made a lot of sense. And I'm going to go with Vivek Ramaswamy.
Really?
The reason being in this debate, he came out swinging. Came out batting 1,000. Came out and attacked the other political candidates. Came out with no fear in his heart. Came out hungry. Came out listing things they've done in the past and putting it on Front Street and saying what you're gonna say about it now. He didn't hold any bars. He didn't make any friends. He's coming out being true to him and also aligning himself a little bit more with Trump when all the other ones are trying to distance themselves with Trump. That's what I was able to see. Secondly, I will say, Nikki Haley, very intelligent, knows her policy, knows foreign policy, somebody that is formidable, and somebody that I do respect, and somebody that could be a formidable VP, a formidable running mate. But president-wise, I do not believe so because she's the establishment. She holds a lot of weight. Vivek Ramaswamy is not an establishment type of guy. He's anti-establishment. So just to key in on the audience, right? The audience, when people say establishment, anti-establishment, establishment is somebody that comes in, they go with whatever they want to happen. They go with the rules. They go with what already been said. They go with everything kind of in motion. Anti-establishment is somebody that wants to come in, change up what's already been done, but for the better. So, for example, Trump. He wanted, when he came in, he promised, I want to build the wall. That's never been talked about before. No presidential candidate came in and said, I want to build a wall. Trump went in, he said, I want to build a wall, built part of the wall. Now, let's not forget, he built part of the wall. Was he able to complete his mission? No. But now, as we fast forward, who wants to come in and finish building the wall? President Biden. So does that mean that idea was bad? No, it means the person that presented the idea wasn't the best person to present the idea. Now, Biden is coming and presenting the idea. Everybody thinks it's a hell of an idea. Oh, Biden, you want to build the wall too? Great. Amazing. So the people that stood out to me, Vivek Ramaswamy and Nikki Haley. Ron DeSantis is always going to be Ron DeSantis to me. I mean, I like Ron DeSantis. I think Ron is an educated, smart individual, tough on what he needs to be tough on, policy-oriented to the T, but he just lacks charisma. He lacks that personality. Vivek has it, right? That's something that, people always say, what makes a great leader? Charisma really doesn't make a great leader. You can be a great leader without charisma, but your personality needs the charisma. You're going to need something to keep you charming. You're going to need something to allow you to be adept to all these different demographics of voters. You're going to need something to kind of make you relate to these individuals. So I think Ron lacks that, and I think he's always going to lack that because he's just not the type of person. He's not that type of person. You can't just create charisma. It's something you're either born with or something you develop along the lines. Doug Christie doesn't do it for me. I just don't like Doug Christie. I think Doug Christie to me is somebody that's been in the swamp too long and he needs to get out. We need to drain him out. I think he's somebody that was at one time friends with Trump, at one time loyal to Trump. Now Trump is the worst thing in the world. Now Trump is this. Now Trump is that. I think he's just, to me, somebody that I just don't respect when it comes to a loyalty aspect. And that, lastly, Tim Scott, the black Republican. I like Tim Scott. I think Tim Scott is a formidable candidate, but he's just not going to make it because of the fact that there's somebody in the running that's already a person of color that's making more waves, doing more. So that's the problem sometimes. Sometimes when you have a multitude of people of color running in a race, it's kind of you're gonna look at who's the best one, right? Well, Vivek clearly is better at speaking. He has better motions that he wants to follow, better policies that he wants to do. He just doesn't have the political experience, but I mean, he's making a lot of waves and he's doing a lot of things. And he's a young guy. He's 35 years old. I'm going to relate to him a lot more compared to Tim Scott. He's 35 years old. We're going to have more of a life experience. I mean, even though Tim Scott's black, but that's just me. That's my opinion. But I think the way this is going, even with the heightened of Israel-Palestine conflict, with the Ukraine-Russia, with Zelensky coming in and talking about, hey, can you just give me credit? Just give me money on credit? Like, what are you talking about, dude? We just lent you $200+ billion. You want us to give you more money and continuously give you more money. And I think Vivek made it clear and strong that he's tired of giving Ukraine money. Why would you have to keep giving Ukraine money? Why? Like, why do we have to do that? So yeah, I think that's, for me, that's what I've seen from the debate. I think people need to continuously watch these debates, continuously see who's coming in at the list, at the things that you want to be accomplished the next presidential term. See if any of these people meet your demands. If your thing is, hey, I want more tough border security. I want a better foreign policy. I want low taxes. See who meets those demands. See who meets that criteria. Vote for that individual. Don't vote with your feelings. Don't vote with your heart. Your heart can fool you. Vote with logic. Vote with your mind. And understand that these individuals are going to be the next rulers of this country. And you need to figure out which one kind of is someone that you can kind of relate to or fit the morals that you want to have happen. But yeah, me, Vivek Ramaswamy, definitely won that debate. And I think that he's just going to continue to be a force to be reckoned with. I think he's not making a lot of allies in the Republican Party just because he's coming in. He's already saying he's anti-establishment, number one. Number two, people don't want to talk about this, but I think his religion plays a big part of it too. I think if he does become the person that does get selected, he's not going to beat Biden. Because number one, he's a practicing Hindu. So
does he?
Yeah, he's practicing Hindu, so
Okay.
he doesn't. Republican Party is majority Christian based voters. Are you think they're gonna vote for somebody that's practicing Hindu religion? Probably not. Depending upon what because he keeps saying every time he was like, I pray to God, I trust in God. Well, you got to be specific when you're talking to Christian voters. Don't pander to them because then they're gonna look up. Well, you're a practicing Hindu, so our God.
He's already pandering because I didn't even. I for some reason I based on like you said he's just referred to God, so I just assumed. And he's referred to Christianity at different points. Maybe not in terms of his religion, but
so he's trying to
referenced it before. So I just thought that he was a Christian.
Shit, boy, good shit. Yes, he's pandering. He's trying to pander to the Christian vote, but a lot of the people in the Republican Party already know he's a practicing Hindu. He practices Hindu religion. Now, is that a negative? Should that stop him from being president? Absolutely not. But you got to look at who your party is. Your party is majority Christian based.
Yeah.
Unless you convert, unless you do something, he's not. And he should not be forced to. But people are going to look at that. Well, you don't worship the God I worship. I'm not going to vote for you, right?
Yeah.
That's another thing. Are you going to look at it from a logic perspective, or are you going to look at it from your heart? Are you going to look at the way? Okay, well, he's not a Christian. I'm not going to vote for him. Or are you going to say, well, he's talking about this, he's talking about that. I really align with his policies. Maybe I should vote for Pence. Well, Pence is a Christian. I'm a Christian, but Pence wants to continue to give money to Ukraine. Well, who gives the money to Ukraine? Oh, well, I do. Well, then your taxes are going to go up another 10%. That's something you got to look at.
Definitely.
That's what I'm trying to say. That's stuff you got to look at. So to me, I like Vivek. If it was today and they said, who do you want as your presidential nominee? It changes for me all the time because every time it's something different. First it was Trump. Now it's DeSantis. Now it's like DeSantis and Vivek is like right here for me. Like right here. Be honest with you. And even with Trump, with everything that's going on with Trump, with the trial and everything like that, I don't know if he gets found convicted. You can't vote for him. He's going to be out of the race. If he gets found convicted and gets convicted of a felony, he's out of the race.
Right.
He can't try to be president with a felony conviction. Now, let me ask you this question. Do you think if he does get convicted, right, and let's say DeSantis wins or Vivek wins, do you think they'll pardon him and just strict that off his record?
Yeah, Vivek said that he would. Vivek has already said that he will pardon him. The problem is that with the pardon, you have to my knowledge anyway, the way I had understood a pardon was in order to accept a pardon, that you have to take responsibility for the crimes that you committed.
Yeah.
To this point, Trump isn't taking responsibility for any of the crimes that he's been accused of. And so I don't anticipate him at any point changing the way he is approaching it and all of a sudden decides to start taking responsibility or accountability for anything. That being said, should he do change his stance or the way he's approaching these things, I think anybody, most of the candidates who are looking to be elected as the nominee for the Republican primary, for the Republican nomination for the presidential party or for the presidential election, I think all of those, any of those candidates are going to look to pardon Trump,
right?
Just off the strength of trying to secure his base, trying to make sure that they get the support from his base.
Yeah,
so they're going to lead with that. They're going to lead with that. That's going to be a point of their campaign that they run on, is that we support President Trump. If elected, we promise to pardon President Trump. Not only President Trump, but the people who are arrested for the Jan 6 riot. So a lot of those people in federal jail, federal prisons for the crimes that they were accused of and found convicted of for that coup. So whoever gets nominated for the nomination, I think that's going to be a big point for them, is trying to secure Trump's base by, again, pandering to them and making it clear that, we're going to pardon him. We're going to take care of the Jan 6 rioters. We're going to take care of all his co-defendants as well. Anybody who was accused in the conspiracy to overturn the election, we're going to make sure that we pardon them. It's crazy because I was, and watching a debate the other night, and I watched it twice. I had to watch it twice just so I was like sure what I was feeling. I I I caught on to Vivek's approach, of coming in guns blazing, ready for the smoke. Yo, he even said it. He said, "I'm gonna be smoking something," and I was like, "Yo, this dude is on one tonight, man." But it's the inexperience for me still that kind of makes me hesitant. And obviously, I'm not a Republican voter, so it doesn't matter for me one way or the other. But even still, just being in tune and being comfortable one way or the other with whoever ultimately gets chosen. It's the inexperience for me sometimes with Vivek, because when you hear Nikki Haley speak, you can hear the experience that she has in dealing with foreign parties. You can hear the experience that she has in coming up with legislation or coming up with policies, especially foreign policies. The same thing with DeSantis. You can kind of hear in his speech the experience that he has in terms of running for office, for winning public office previously, and having a part of the country that was thriving, I should say, under his leadership. So when we go to Vivek, and when I listened to Vivek the other night, although I agree with you that he was very very animated, and that his personality kind of shined through a little bit more than some of the other candidates. He didn't hold back anything. He wasn't biting his tongue for anybody. He even attacked the moderator. He did. The moderator, you know what I mean? Yo, you need to answer for the Russian collusion hoax. You know what I mean? So I was like, yo, Vivek is on one tonight. But I'm just a little bit hesitant with the experience for him. I do agree with you in terms of Nikki Haley. I think that, I think she's presented herself as a very strong candidate, and a very good alternative. But like you said, she's very she's for the system. She's for the, she's for the system. And so I like the idea of her as a running mate for somebody.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because of the experience that she has, and that strength, that woman's strength that she brings to the table, for sure.
Let me keep it a being right now. I don't mean to cut you off, brother. Hold that thought. But I definitely take her as I'll substitute Kamala for her instantaneously right now.
I haven't seen anything from Kamala in these past couple years.
That's and I get it, right? And I'm gonna let you get back to your point, but I get it, right? The VP is really not supposed to be that mouthpiece, but damn, that VP need to know how to speak, man.
Sometimes
you know how to articulate
important stuff at some point, man.
You can't. Sometimes when she talk, it's like, bro, what are you talking about?
Yeah, it's like missing in action sometimes, and then when she does speak, like you said, it's like, yo, what are you talking about? What are you saying? Where is this coming from? I like her a lot, but I just haven't seen enough from her in the past couple of years. And at this point, we're about to be in a whole nother election. So
yeah, Kamala's, she's a very likable person. I mean, she looked good. She's a pretty Indian and black female. She's not an ugly looking woman at all. But I think her looks carry her a lot. And I think, her articulation of certain things just does not make sense. It does not make sense.
Yeah, I just haven't heard enough. She's a little bit older, so I don't even be looking at her that way, but she's an attractive woman. Nah, but all in all, I think your boy DeSantis kind of did it for me the other night, man.
Okay,
I think DeSantis did it for me. I liked his focus.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I liked his focus, and I also liked his awareness, his sharpness. It kind of seemed like when it came down to the questions that he was prepared, that he knew what he wanted to say. He had his information on his side to back up pretty much all of his points. And so I just thought that DeSantis kind of stood out amongst all of them. Like, all of them in that room, he seemed to be the most prepared and the most ready to actually do the job of president. Outside of Nikki Haley, I think Tim Scott and Chris Christie are just there as like they're just there to fill up the stage. But you know what I mean, they not. Most people don't expect them to win this thing. I think they're going to drop out in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, they have to. But that's the thing. Like, who do you think when they drop out? Who do you think they endorse? Because that's the thing. Like, if Christie drops out,
like none of them are endorsing Trump. That's not happening.
Yeah, so it's like if Christie drops out, cool. Does Christie endorse Vivek? Because he endorsed DeSantis, Nikki Haley. Like, who do you like? So here's the question, right? Because we already agree, I agree with you. Tim Scott and Doug Christie are probably going to fade away in the next few weeks or so. Like, they're going to say, all right, we're not going to live up to the task. Like, we'll try again another time. Who are they going to endorse? Who's Chris Christie going to endorse, and who's Tim Scott going to endorse?
That's a good question. That's a real good question. I can see both of them endorsing Nikki Haley.
Okay. Oh wow.
Nikki Haley or Ron DeSantis. I don't think either one of them are Vivek guys. I don't think that they like Vivek.
No.
If I'm not mistaken, I think Tim Scott and Nikki Haley represent the same state, South Carolina.
Yes.
So I can see that from that standpoint, but I think they may also have an issue that's unresolved. So I think if not Nikki Haley, I can definitely see Tim Scott endorsing Ron DeSantis. And then again, same thing with Chris Christie, minus the personal issues. I think that if he does, when he ultimately does decide to drop out, that I know he's not endorsing Trump, but I also know he's not endorsing Vivek either. Right. So I'm pretty sure that it would be an endorsement of DeSantis. I think that those two probably have the most in common, and they're probably like leaning the same way in terms of a lot of things. They just are communicating in different ways. But then again, I think that I definitely can see DeSantis because I think Chris Christie probably says some of the things that DeSantis wants to say about Trump, but he just won't go there just yet.
No. DeSantis is a very clean guy. Like, he's not going to say crazy things. He's going to beat you. He's going to articulate it well. He's not going to be the one that kind of goes below the belt, and I respect that about him. I think he's a very clean candidate, and I think he wants to run a clean race. But yeah, I can agree with that. I think with Tim Scott and Chris Christie, I can see them going either way, Nikki Haley or DeSantis. Vivek, absolutely not. I think as I said earlier, Vivek is going to be the outlier. He's going to be just like how Robert Kennedy Jr. is the outlier in the Democratic Party, or I think he's running the Independent now, if I'm not mistaken. But he's either running the Democrat or Independent. He's the outlier for that party, just like Vivek is the outlier for the Republican Party. He's the individual that people can say, like, I want to vote for him, but I don't know if I can vote for him. I don't know if I should vote for him. Like, his policies make sense, but then again, as you said, the political inexperience. Like, he's never held a seat in office. He's never held anything political before. Does that mean he can't be a good leader? No, it does not. I mean, Trump never held a political office. He's never held any of that, and he was a president. So, but he was an entertainer as well. Vivek is not an entertainer. He's a businessman. He's a pharmaceutical businessman. So, yeah, it's deep shit. It's deep, man. It gets deep, and I think, like I said before, if you're a Republican, it is very important for you. You know what I mean? If you're a Democrat and looking to see what the other side looks like, I would say tune in to these debates and see what you're looking at that could favor you for not voting for that other guy. You know?
Yo, I wanted to ask you a question. I know we probably short on time, but I wanted to ask you, what's your thoughts on Trump when it comes to choosing to not participate in these debates up to this point?
You don't have to.
He was a couple miles away from where the debate was taking place, holding his own rally.
Yeah,
which is
he doesn't. I mean, if you think about it, he really doesn't have to because, like, well, I mean, he doesn't have anything to prove. He has nothing to prove. What does he have to prove debating DeSantis, debating? Like, he's not gonna have to. He doesn't have to prove anything to them, or he doesn't have to prove. He doesn't have to prove anything to the Republican Party. Period. I think for him, for what Trump's best thing is he's doing right now is what he's doing right now. Campaigning for himself. He doesn't have to participate in the debates because he's already highly favored. He's a guy that's coming in. He's already has 50% of the vote. 50% of people are going to vote for him. Like, why would I go and debate and not necessarily mess it up, but why would I waste time debating when I can just go out and campaigning, getting more supporters, getting more eyes, going to my rallies, getting more support from the people that actually care for me, than debating 4, 5, 6 individuals. That's all they're going to do is just say negative things about me. Like, that doesn't make sense. Like, you can see in the first debate, what were they doing? They were saying all negative things about Trump. Every single one of them said negative things about Trump, except probably DeSantis or Vivek. They didn't really say anything negative about Trump. Then this other debate, I guarantee you one of them said something about Trump. One of them said something. Somebody said something about Trump. So it's kind of like, why would I do that when I'm already, let's put it in perspective, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's like Tom Brady going back to Michigan after he done won a Super Bowl championship and coming to play in a Michigan game. Why would he even do that? That doesn't make sense. I was already a president. I already won. Why would I come? I'm already favored. Why would I come back and debate you guys? Why? It doesn't make sense. What do I have to prove? Trump doesn't have anything to prove. All Trump has to do is focus on his trial, gain new supporters, figure out, how things are looking for him in regards of, all right, cool, who's going to be is the Republicans going to nominate me? Because they have to nominate somebody, right? They may not nominate him. If they don't nominate him, it's a wrap.
Right.
He's out. He can't. I mean, unless he runs as an independent, it's a wrap for him. So, yeah.
Yeah, I was just curious, man, because I see that it hasn't affected his polling numbers.
No.
I was just wondering on a micro level if it's affecting like the individual person, if they look at him any differently for choosing to
Same thing is, has Biden done any debates?
Nah.
Well, he don't have to. Even though I would want to see him debate, but he doesn't have to because he's the incumbent president. He's already favored, and there's no other the Democratic nominees because they didn't want any more Democratic nominees. They said they don't want any more. They're doing this thing with Newsom where Newsom's debating individuals, Newsom's doing this, Newsom's doing that. They're doing that as a facade type of thing. Where, okay, if anything happens to Biden, Newsom has some track here. Let's bring Newsom in. Let's see what Newsom can do. Because I really do believe Kamala's not going to be the next president. If Kamala's probably going to be president for like a day. Then she's going to relinquish the thing because she's unlikable. No one likes her. Not even her own Democratic Party. She's not a likable person. She just doesn't have anything about her that's likable. And that's not me saying that. Like I told you earlier, I think she is gorgeous. I think she is very intelligent. I just think she doesn't articulate well. I think she's just not a very articulating person. I think she just misses the ball when it comes to explaining things or answering questions. I think the Democratic Party is very good at doing a lot of double talk and a lot of, politicians in general, but a lot of double talk and a lot of like, okay, I'm not going to answer your question directly. I'll just go around in circles and say something that kind of makes sense, but it really doesn't. So,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, it's almost that season. We're almost to that season, man. 2023 is wrapping up shortly here, and then we'll be right into election season, man. Yep. It's going to be an exciting time, though. These candidates will start to dwindle down here soon too. Do you think? Because I mean, at some point we'll start to see it soon. But you think DeSantis or Vivek have a good shot at Big T?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think if it comes down to the final two, Trump's going to have to debate because they have to nominate. So if it comes down to them two, man, like I told you before, it's DeSantis for me, and then it's Vivek. Trump is kind of like, all right, well, if Trump gets it, then I'm going to vote for him. I'm not voting for a Democrat, but I think with DeSantis, he just, Like he to me, he's very, like you said earlier, you keyed on focus. He's very policy oriented. He knows what he's talking about. He's not a guy that's gonna be this lackadaisical individual. He's not a guy that's gonna take things for granted. He's gonna sit down, look at things, and see how we can do this effectively and logistically. All right, he's very smart. This guy went to an Ivy League school. He's not a dumb guy. And I think you can see that if it comes down to Trump or DeSantis. Me personally, I'm gonna have to go DeSantis. I'm gonna have to go DeSantis, man. It's just like I like Trump. You know, I think Trump is a very authoritative figure. I think he backs up what he says, but I think he does do a lot of lying. I think he does say a lot of things that he means well when he says them, but he doesn't fulfill with them. He's fulfilled on many things, but a lot of things he's promised, he wasn't able to fulfill on them. So you have to take it like that. If I look at DeSantis' track record, what he did when it was COVID, what he did with the unemployment rate in Florida, how he was able to bring businesses in Florida, how everybody came flocking to Florida. You take that and you multiply that by 50 states. What do you think DeSantis is going to do when it comes to controlling a whole nation? How do you think he's going to run it? It's going to be a lot better. If you can run one state effectively, multiply it by 50. Let's see how he runs that state. Now, if we take another person like Newsom and we see how he runs California, do you want California ran in 50 states?
Depends on what we talking about. What? Depends on what we talking about.
Okay, so you want unlimited homeless people. You want homeless people on the street. You want homeless people doing what they want to do. You want cops not being able to arrest or do anything or detain people when they go into a store and steal about $100,000 worth of merchandise. You want that. You want lawlessness. I mean, if you want that, that's cool, bro. I mean, that's you. You know, that's you. I mean, if you want that, that's all you, bro. That's all you.
No.
About things like that, man.
Cali's just a nice place to visit.
Cali's a nice place to visit. Not really want to know if I want to stay there or not. I don't know about that one. Like my wife was telling me, she has a training she's gonna go do, and she want to know if I wanted to come in like in Cali, like San Jose or whatever. And it's like right by the Bay Area, like right by San Francisco. And I said, bro, San Francisco got like 100,000 million homeless people all over the place. You know? Like I don't want to be around them. I want to go to Cali. I want to go experience the weather, but I don't want to get robbed. I don't want to get groped by them homeless man.
Yeah,
so,
it'd be ugly.
Take it as a grain of salt, but you know that's just my opinion.
Shout out to all my friends in Cali, though.
Yeah, shout out to the people that live in Cali. I don't know how y'all do it with that 15% tax rate and you know the other craziness that goes on.
About to cook y'all Californians.
God bless y'all, man. I like living in the first state, and you know it's awarded me a lot of opportunities that you know maybe other states wouldn't have been able to award me. But you know I think this has been a hell of a podcast, brother. What you think, man?
Yeah, no, listen, man. Another great conversation as always. Hope the people enjoy this content because listen, we haven't talked sports or football, I should say, in a couple of weeks, so it felt good to get back to some football stuff. But you know, when it comes down to the debate talk and specifically about the Republican nomination, we got to understand local elections just passed recently. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's important to get out here and go vote. When the national election comes up, you know, we'll make sure that we're on top of it for you guys so we can let you guys know when to get out there and go vote because it's important to exercise your right to go vote. And that's a lot of the reason why we even have these conversations is to inform you guys on the things that are happening in the political sphere. Because everybody, I know for me personally, I wasn't always in tune, and I'm still getting there. I'm still learning a lot of this information as we, you know, progress on our show. But it's important to be on top of these things because we have a lot of influence when we exercise our right to vote. And so, you know, if there's a particular candidate that you're fond of, don't think that your voice isn't heard. You know, when you do go out here and exercise your right to go vote, all of our voices are being heard, regardless of if the candidate who wins is the candidate that you're a fan of or not. or a supporter of or not. So another great podcast, another great episode, a lot of information for you guys. Between football talk, between the debate talk, and Larsa and Marcus was just for the fun of it, but even that great podcast, man. Did you have anything you wanted to finish with?
Nah, just peace and blessings to y'all, man. Enjoy the time that you guys have with your families. But definitely like, comment, subscribe, and follow us on Instagram. Shout us out, and we'll definitely do a little bit of Q&A stuff. We'll start posting some of that to see what topics you guys want us to cover. If you guys have anything, we'll definitely do something like that as well. We can always post something on our Instagram to figure out what y'all want to listen to, what you guys want us to discuss. We're open to discussing things that fall into our subgenres, and also anything that kind of comes up that's kind of weird or like, whoa, what's going on there? So, but peace and blessings to y'all, man. Thank you for the support, and appreciate y'all for the ride.
100%. Episode 6 of the Who Asked Y'all To podcast, featuring your brothers Chris Porter and MDot. Like he said, 100 times appreciate y'all for the support. We be out. We're gonna holler at y'all. We out though.
Peace.
Peace.